gonna wait for the neighbor to back out. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to VinTech, the show that takes way too long for every single episode to come out. It is what it is. Today, I am going to be issuing a response, kind of, to, or at least an update, to the video that I made a while ago about how iOS tricks its users into thinking that it's awesome. As of that video being recorded, I had just ordered a Samsung Galaxy S9. I was ready to start using that as my full-time device. I had just gotten off of using an iPhone 8 Plus for 6 months, and you know, I talked a lot about how iPhones sort of fool you into thinking that it's an awesome experience when it's really not. And how Android is a better platform, it's a better experience. Well, some things have changed since then. For starters, I am not using the Samsung Galaxy S9 that I do have, and I am using an iPhone XR full-time, and I probably will stick with this phone until the new iPhones come out, or until Google figures out their crap. So that's what I want to talk about today. Google and I are not on speaking terms right now. That's how I'll say it. For starters, everything I said in the first video is true about how iOS tricks its users into thinking that it's awesome. The trouble with that is, the fact is, it kind of is awesome. As much as I hate to admit that, I'm a Linux user. I'm also a Mac user, so that's important to note. But I am a Linux user, and I deeply love using Linux, so I appreciate that Android has Linux, you know, deep down within it somewhere. But the fact of the matter is, Android right now is in a weird place, and I would argue that it's not really in a great place. Google has had some issues recently. A report came out talking about how Google was working with the Chinese government to design a version of their search engine that helps tie people's phone numbers to their search results in China. That is a problem for me, because there is only one reason for a government to want to do that, and that is to track down people who are Googling and searching for things that the government deems not okay. And that is a problem for me. I live in the United States. We value freedom. You don't get to control what people see, what they think, what they believe. And I don't want to support a company that helps a government be more oppressive than it already is, which in China is impressive because they're already pretty oppressive. So that's one thing. I'm not happy with Google about that. Another thing, even more recently, it came out that I think Andy Rubin, the original, like the father of Android, he worked for Google for a while, I think. It came out that there were some sexual allegations against him, and instead of making it public and handling it the way that they should have, in my opinion, Google fired him, but they gave him like a ridiculous amount of money. I think it was something to the tune of $70 million, but they just they gave him a severance package, and he just took off, and has since been doing the Essential line of phones. I think there's only one phone, the Essential phone. That's bullcrap. You can't just give somebody a severance package and fire them if they have been sexually assaulting people at your company. And then it came out that like 40 other people had experienced something similar. Like, they got fired, but they got severance packages, and Google just kind of swept it under the rug. You don't get to do that. I would be surprised if no other companies had done this, but the fact that people know about Google doing it and they have not really said much about it is a problem, and it's just kind of one more thing. There was a report of people after upgrading to Android 9, some of their settings had changed. I don't remember what the setting was that was changed, but some setting had changed, on their Android devices, meaning that Google had somehow remote controlled their devices and changed the settings, like somehow sent a command to the operating system that made the settings change, which in theory means they can do that with literally anything. There's not, I can't say for certain that right now with the way that it's built that it would allow them to do it with literally anything, but it means that at any point they could put a patch through at least that would allow them to pretty much control your phone however they want. I mean, they could probably activate your camera, your microphone, any of that stuff anytime they want. That is a problem for me as well. I like to have my privacy. I mean, I don't have anything to hide, but it doesn't matter. Like, you can't just take advantage of your customers that way, and that's something that Google has been doing. If you don't believe me, you can look at the release of the Google Pixel 3. The Pixel 3 XL. They were giving out copies of this phone to tech reviewers and YouTubers and making, for free, but mind you, like for free, and making the people who paid for them and ordered them wait like a long time. There are still people who have not gotten their Pixel 3s yet, and it's like November 5th or 6th, I think. Like it's at least we're almost done with the first week in November. So that's another problem. Like you are taking advantage of your customers. You're taking their money and not giving them what they asked for. Now, Apple is by no means a perfect company, but at this point, I think Apple has a much better track record than Google does, especially with these phones. This phone, this iPhone XR that I'm recording this on, was released on a Friday. I put my order in for it on Friday. I had it at my house Monday. Like, I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to, it wasn't back ordered. I didn't have to pre-order it to get my hands on it right away. I just had it. So that's a testament to how good of a job Apple has done with at least their phone production. I mean, at least they're getting their phones in the hands of the people who buy them, which is more than I can say for Google right now. And the Google Pixel 3 is a joke anyway right now. Like, I know this video is getting kind of ranty, but I think it's kind of warranted. Like, the Pixel 3 is garbage. Like, I don't know why. It's slower than the iPhones. The only thing that it's got going for it really is the camera. Like, the camera is darn impressive, for sure. There is no doubt about that. The camera is very, very impressive. But the software is not. Like, Google's weird navigation controls. And this is coming from, I'm using an iPhone XR, right? It has Apple's navigation controls. It's got it doesn't have a home button. It's using got the notch and everything. It's still better. Like, Android's gesture navigation is trash. I played with it for like 10 minutes, and I could not get used to it in that 10 minutes. This phone, 3 minutes. 3 minutes and I had a handle on it. It feels so natural to use the gesture navigation on the iPhone XR. Just does. It's better. With regard to the security stuff, Apple has fought tooth and nail to make sure that everyone is totally and completely secure when it comes to using their phone's software forever. Their app store might have fewer apps in them, but they're better apps. Like, they have a much higher degree of quality control. People don't have to worry about their phones being infected with these viruses, the malware that sometimes you can find from the Google Play Store. There have been one or two instances. I mean, I don't know how many instances. I know it's a lot fewer because Apple screens the apps so thoroughly. The ones that come to my mind are the old tethering apps that they had in the Play Store back during the iPhone maybe 4 days, like the iPhone 3GS days, where it was like hidden in a piece of software that you could start your iPhone tethering or whatever for free. And they found, like, it got through the cracks on the first round, but they still figured it out and they removed it. Which kind of sucks for people who wanted to use that feature, and that's an argument to be made for the way Google does it. But on the whole, The apps are so much better on iOS. I mean, Snapchat is a joke on Android. I mean, granted, Snapchat is kind of a joke anyway, but it's a lot more of a joke on Android. It is a really, the app is at least built well on the iPhone. The Facebook app, so much better on iPhone. The Twitter app, so much better on iPhone. It's just, it is what it is, you know? I've had to go back. I missed having the iPhone. I used the Samsung Galaxy S9 for like a month, and as soon as the 10R was announced and I saw what it was all about, when I saw it had the same specs as the 10S, the same A12 Bionic chip or whatever, I think it's the Bionic, my mind was made up at that point because I was so fed up with using Android on a... Now, granted, some of that may have been the phone, like the Samsung Galaxy S9. The S9's battery life sucks. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is awful. I came from using an 8 Plus. Granted, giant battery, great battery life. I could never come close to a full day of use with the Galaxy S9. And I wasn't even using the like Quad HD Plus thing that they had going on, where you could crank the screen all the way up to the 4K display that it has. But that should tell you something. When their optimization is so poor that you have to down tune your display, like bring down the resolution to keep some semblance of battery life, that is such garbage. That there is absolutely no reason why you should have to do that. If Samsung is going to take the time that it takes to put that fat skin on Android that they do, there is no reason why they can't go in there and custom tweak the software every which way to make it so that it handles their batteries well and handles it for a long time. Or at least a reasonable amount of time. Android's open source. You can crack it open. You can do what you want with it. People do. You can make it better on battery. People just, Samsung at least just doesn't. I mean, the LG G6 that I was using before, it wasn't great for battery life, but it was a lot better. At least it felt better. It interacted. I didn't feel like I was coming, 4 o'clock in the afternoon rolling around and the battery's dead. This thing I have been using nonstop for most of the day, and I don't know if I can check it here while I'm recording it. I don't think I can. Sorry about that. I got a call and I had to go pick something up, but the point still stands. The battery life on this phone has been spectacular, and it was just piss poor on the Galaxy S9. So, it could have been a bad combination of hardware and software that has led me to this point on the Android side. It may have been a bad combination of hardware and software for the Samsung. It may be a good combination of hardware and software for this device. I'm not sure, but the 10R right now is my home for the time being. The camera's good, so expect some more videos in the future. I can't say for sure when, but definitely expect them in the future, and I'll let you know how things go. With the way things are looking right now, iOS will probably be my home for the foreseeable future, unless Android really steps up their game and makes some changes. So that's all I got for you. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in, and see you later.